Welcome back to Tokyo Ghoul Anime Review. This is part, uh, let's just say, I'm going to rename this series, well, because I'm reviewing the Tokyo Ghoul Re-Anime. I am going to change this to Tokyo Ghoul Re-Anime Review Episode 3. With this one, I'm reviewing the third episode of the anime, which is called Eve Fresh, or now they also has a different name called Fresh Eve. Now this one, unlike the first two episodes, I watched them subbed. This episode I was able to watch dubbed. Yes, I was able to watch this episode dubbed. Somehow I was able to, but it's fine. I don't have a really big problem with it. I looked up online. Apparently, from the information I can gather, is that this episode is roughly adapted from chapters 10 to 15. Yeah, I'm not kidding. Just like the opening episodes of the series, it's adapted from 6 episodes. I don't really know why in the world that it's adapted from 6 episodes again, but just like with the first episode, they cut stuff from the manga. Like the opening scene. Despite the fact the last episode ended with seeing Toka, this episode begins completely different. It's like certain sequences are shown a little bit out of order, but the pacing is fine. The photographer character Muse. First time I've actually heard her character in English. Because the only times I've seen this character is for the pilot episode and the episode One of the Days Pro, I think it's called, where it was adapted from the third story of the light novel Days. Yeah, that's the only appearance I've seen of her, and this is the first time I've heard her dubbed. And the person who voices her in the dub, let's see if I can find it here. Hmm. I honestly don't know. I have to look it up. Edo pops up in this episode. Yeah, she pops up briefly for like one scene. I'm surprised the fact they actually had her in the episode. Yeah, she appears briefly, and it's adapted from a couple different sequences from the manga. But my guess is certain things that were cut probably from these particular chapters maybe will be in a later episode. It's probably flashback stuff, but who knows? But it's interesting though that they had sequences to a little bit out of order, but it doesn't interrupt the flow of the series. No, it doesn't. And with this episode, there with this episode does feature return of a particular character who was actually last seen in the original series. I think that's Jusu. I think his name is. Yeah, I believe so. He's the guy with the stitches. Yeah, the stitches guy makes his return. Yeah, I believe his name is Sansa. Yeah, I'm very happy to see this guy. I really enjoyed him in the original series. I didn't have a really big problem with him, so I'm happy to see the guy. Hooray! hmm Yeah, he pops up. Oh yeah, and apparently Kaneki as Sas apparently has become good friends with him and brings along tons of snacks. Yep. And of course, they discussed up with the Nutcracker. They also briefly go to a nightclub in this episode, and also the members of the squad all dress up as women, even though that two of them are women. Yep. Also, trying to think, what was her name here? Yeah, the one member of the Quince squad, the one who's actually lazy, Psycho, Seiko, yeah, the blue hair girl. Yeah, she actually does something in this episode. Yeah, she tells like she has to go to a meeting or she'll get fired. So she's brought there by the new captain of the group, the one who's actually the third rank investigator. Let's see, what is his name here? Gashin, yes, that's his name. Yeah, because he took over as the captain in the previous episode. He tells her that, yeah, I'm the new captain now, and I want you to come to the meeting. The guy who was the previous captain says, if you don't come, you'll be fired. Even though that Quincy, these artificial ghouls are financially supported by the CGC for life. hmm So they come to the meeting, and from what I can tell, it proceeds exactly as it's a brief meeting with different squad over the Nutcracker. Apparently, Nutcracker is a big deal. Apparently, for some reason, I don't know why. And I like the scenes they actually. I like the one scene where they bring in the Algeri tree. Not much else there. Oh yeah, the guy who's in prison who actually showed up in 2 episodes back. Yeah, he makes a return. Apparently, he speaks to Kaneki about regaining his memory. Says there's actually a particular individual. Says contact this person and they'll give back your memories. They don't say they don't say who this character is. It's implied it's Toka's brother because he pops up in the episode. Toka, for some reason, despite showing up at the end of the last episode, does not pop up in this one. Despite the fact in the manga she appears at the start of the chapter 10. I don't really know why in the world they cut this scene from the manga, from the anime. Yeah, they cut several scenes. Yeah, stuff with Toka is cut. I don't know, maybe it's due to timing as they want to get to this particular auction, which by the look at the next episode, yeah, it's going to start from chapter 16. That's the way it looks like. But yeah, like the pilot, adapting from 6 chapters again. Though I wouldn't be surprised though if somehow that scenes that were cut from this particular episode might be adapted for later episodes. Yeah, material that was cut. I'm hoping it does because it'd be interesting. Because some scenes go by a little quickly, but it's just that for this particular episode, it's like that certain things felt a little out there. Um, it's like, oh, despite we have the scenes at nightclub, we're in this meeting with the CGC. Yeah, it's very abrupt. Yeah, the editing is fine. It's just that the pacing is a little bad. Yeah, that's the weakness of this episode is its pacing. The first episode wasn't a really big problem. This episode, it feels like uh feels a little bit sloppy when it comes to the pacing in this episode. Yeah, and well, writing wise, it's fine. It's just that the pacing is the weakness of this episode. Unlike last week's episode, where it was adapted from 3 chapters, we're back at 6 again. I mean, why can't they just stuck to just 6, at least 3 chapters? That would be a little more interesting than rushing through 6. But I'm not the animators. But they probably really want to get to this whole thing with the the whole thing with this auction. They probably really wanted to get to it really badly. Yeah, that's what it seems like. They really wanted to get to this auction so badly. So they kind of, well, rushed the auction. Yeah. hmm So roughly put in just 3 episodes, they kind of already, well, in the case of this episode, they got through about half of Volume 2. Yeah, half of Volume 2. I would not be surprised if next episode is, well, going to be adapted from the last 5 chapters of Volume 2. Yeah. But it's interesting, though, the fact that this one just adapts like half the book, and possibly next episode will adapt the second half of the book. It's a possibility. But if you're wondering how many episodes are left, there is only 9 episodes left. Because for some reason, Studio Parrot couldn't go beyond 12 episodes. For some reason. No idea why. I don't know. Maybe they're waiting for something. I have no idea. Yeah. But that's it for the episode. But now let's talk about the newest chapter of the manga. Chapter 169, Toward the Group of Factors. Yeah, we see. I don't remember this character's name. I think he's got tattoos around his neck. And he's got a lip piercing. I think he did appear in the previous manga. I kind of forgot this guy's name. Yeah, it's been a while since I read some stuff in the original stuff. Uh, Reivew pops up, fights these other guys. Yeah, there's a lot of fighting in this chapter. We get a chance to see. Uh, I think this is supposed to be the owl, and he fights this other guy. Yeah, I kind of forgot. It's been a while since I've read a lot of this stuff. Not this chapter, just some of these characters. You see more characters interact with each other, trying to lots of fighting, and then we come back to Kaneki, and I kind of forgot this guy's name. Yeah, a lot of these characters I completely forgot their names. It just slipped my mind. Yeah, and they're just there looking for the cure to this poison that's been going on for roughly about 30 chapters now. Yeah, then we cut back to Ranku is fighting some other thing. The guy who we confronted in the last chapter, who apparently is part of the clowns. Yeah, there were a group of people who were mentioned that were seen. If you watch Tokyo Anime, they did pop up for one episode, and they did nothing. Yeah, it's like there's a hint of the clowns. Oh yeah, and also I should point out though that the owner of that bar, the one who's constantly drinking and kind of goes there for information, she's actually the leader of the clowns. Yeah, she is. She doesn't pop up in this particular series. She has popped up in a while, actually. And we see them constantly cut to see a woman, and it's Ranjun. And we see Ranjun collapse in front of this guy who we found in the last chapter. And the black, yeah, I no, this is not the black dragon. I think it's the owl again. And see his tattoos, and he says, "Guy, he makes you feel alive." Yeah, I know, kind of basically brushed through this chapter, but excuse me, I kind of forgot a lot of these characters' names, and with the exception of Kaneki and Renja, yeah, with the exception of these two, I completely forgot a lot of these characters' names because I wanted to get this manga pretty quickly before the anime started because I knew the anime was started up, so I kind of forgot these people's names. So I probably will remember these names later on, but when it comes to if these characters do pop up in the actual main series. Now, as of right now, because I got the chapter 15, so this means as of right now, if you're watching the anime wise, chapters wise, there's about, I think it's about 75 chapters until Kaneki regains his memory. So you have to wait a little while. As for how many episodes it's going to be, I don't have any idea. I wouldn't be surprised though if they ended the series, or like if they ended this particular season at like they adapt like chapter 50 or something like that. I don't know, but I think for some people, they probably thought that the pacing was a little bit that they were treating this a little more respect than they were with Tokyo Ghoul. This one is not as bad as what they did with Tokyo Ghoul, with telling Circus Sequence is lower. This episode is not as bad as basically what they did with that. It's a little better, but I kind of wish they would, slow down how many chapters they adapt and then don't do like 6 per episode because I kind of think that's kind of stupid because you miss out on a lot of interactions that are in the manga itself. Oh yeah, and according to Studio Parrot, yeah, Rude never happened. So, in order to kind of find out what happened at the end of season 1 of Tokyo Ghoul and up until now, you have to pretty much read the remaining 67 chapters in the manga, kind of find out what happened next. Because, well, the anime kind of screwed it up. Oh yeah, and I've also heard that the writer of the Tokyo Ghoul series in Tokyo Re, he was not impressed with the anime at all. And also, I've heard that the anime does not get a lot of love, like other anime does, just that Studio Parrot does. Yeah. But this is by far the only series I've watched by them where it's dubbed by Funimation, because the other two series I've watched by them is Naruto, Naruto Shippuden, and Bleach. Basically 3 other series. And all of them were dubbed by Viz Media. This one was dubbed by Funimation. The same people who do DBZ and One Piece and a bunch of other series. Yeah. So I gotta say for this particular chapter, it's a pretty good chapter. It does advance the thing forward. I kind of wish I remember who these characters were. I probably need to do that. Maybe in the next episode I might do that. hmm Or I might remember what these characters' names are. Yeah. But otherwise, though, that's it for this particular episode. Stay tuned next week for episode 4, where I'm going to cover auction. Yep, the auction episode. And I would not be surprised if this episode adapted chapters 16 to 20. Yeah, I would not be surprised if they did that for next week's episode. But it just all depends exactly what they're going to do. Alright? But until I see you all there, of course, I also probably hopefully get a chance to review chapter 170 of the manga. Alright? Until I see you next episode. Bye.